There's a new Mario Kart game in development with a new What's the controller gonna look like?
Hello, good morning.
It is too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And so many news. It's like you come back from holiday and nothing's going on. And then you can tell exactly when everybody came back to work, when all the PR people came back to work.
Yeah.
Because it was yesterday.
Right. That's very, very true. Which is interesting because, like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect us to have a lack of news for the 4th of July.
Oh, I did. Oh, 100%. Because everybody, listen, it doesn't matter what you think about the 4th of July. Everybody loves a long weekend. There's never any news after the 4th of July. Like, that's just people wanted to take days off.
Right.
You know? That's just the way it go. But I'll tell you what. They're back. They're back, baby.
Nobody loves the 4th of July more than the woman who came out of the truck with a Punisher red, white, and blue sticker on it that entered into a restaurant and then sent her food back because her chicken tikka masala wasn't like she makes it at home.
Yes, her chicken tikka masala.
Yeah.
The authentic chicken tikka masala.
I'm just going to say, like, don't go to red spots right now.
Yeah. When you said nobody likes the 4th of July, I was just going to say period.
True, except for her.
Except for her.
Once you heard it, you're like, oh no, actually, she fucking loves the 4th of July, man.
You know,
it was very specific. I met her in Big Bear.
There she was. Exactly where you would expect her to be, in Big Bear. Here's the thing about Big Bear. Big Bear is a beautiful foresty, magical area of California, which is very close to LA, and a lot of people like to go there for their magical nature weekends.
Right.
The problem with Big Bear is if you leave your, like, the little cabin or your campsite or whatever, you have to deal with the people who live in Big Bear.
Yeah. A teenager coughed at me for wearing a mask.
Hell yeah, got her. Got her, everybody.
There are two teenagers, and then they giggled and coughed at me.
There are two teenagers living inside you.
One of them wears a mask, and the other coughs at people who do.
Both of them are dicks. Did you see the one Big Bear? You know, nobody's ever seen it. They're just stories.
Yeah, it's like a cryptid.
People are like, the biggest bear is here.
Right.
Have you seen it? No,
yeah.
No, I've only heard whispers of the large bear. But my grandpa saw it. My grandpa saw it back in '67.
I heard. Yeah, it left a claw mark on the door.
There it is.
One day, I think we should have a conversation. I don't know why it would be on this show, but it probably will be about local cryptids.
I mean, look, as somebody who is planning to get his doctorate in cryptozoology, I'm very fascinated by cryptids.
Anthony, allow me to tell you one day about the Los Angeles lipstick goblin, but today is not that day.
You've already told me about it.
Let's go ahead and get into the news, shall we? One of the big announcements, and this is something that we've been kind of going back and forth on whether it was going to happen or not, E3 is returning in person in Los Angeles in 2023.
In a way, here's the thing about this news. Number one, I didn't expect it. I was like, E3 is limping along. It's like, put it out of its misery, you know? But it's been bought by ReedPop. ReedPop is going to be running E3. Now, ReedPop, if you don't know, I mean, it hasn't been bought by, but they've got the contract.
Yeah, so it's kind of the opposite of bought by.
Yeah, so they've contracted out ReedPop to run E3. Now, what this means is the ESA has always sort of like done this event on their own with a little bit of help, but ReedPop is for front-facing fan conventions. ReedPop does big conventions. They do Anime Expo. They do Star Wars Celebration. I think they still do Comic-Con stuff. I think they're still in charge of Comic-Con, ReedPop, but they're one of the biggest event corporations like in the world, but they're for fan events. Now, E3 has been transitioning into a more fan event over the last few years. Some would say very unsuccessfully.
Yeah, most would say.
Most would say extremely unsuccessfully. So basically, like, the way E3 works now is it's still mostly a press and industry event and retailer event, but they allow people to come in with like fan badges.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal is, if you have a fan badge, you're allowed to like wait in line and play everything everybody else plays. Except, here's the thing. The only way anybody in the press gets to play anything at E3 is they set appointments. If you don't set an appointment, the line for every single game is like 3 hours long.
Yes.
Which means when they tried to turn this into a fan event, fans would come in, they'd get in line to play these new games that are being previewed, and they'd get to play one, maybe two things in a day. It's not a great fan event. And I'm thinking that they're pulling in ReedPop to make it a more smoothly running fan event. Now, of course, if you went to Anime Expo last week, you know that ReedPop not always running the smoothest events.
Bar's pretty low if you went to Anime Expo last week. Of course, Anime Expo was extremely overcrowded. Lots of people, even with badges, couldn't get in. It seems like they did oversell on tickets.
Always.
Pictures of the floor were absolutely packed. People were being turned away.
Security
and
was
it was
stealing
not
food from people.
COVID safe. Now, when you say stealing food from people, are you talking about the same thing I'm talking about, where vendors had brought food because they were going to be at their booth all day? Like, let's say I'm a one-person artist sitting at my booth and I'm there for 12 hours. Typically, most conventions would allow you to bring food into your booth because you are not a typical con goer. But they were preventing people who had their own booths from bringing in any sort of snacks
They were
or
taking,
food
they
or
were
drinks.
they were literally taking it and saying, "We've got lunch today now."
Well, if I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, they were literally taking the food from people and being like, "We got lunch today," and people would be like, "Well, this is my food. I have," and they're like, "Sorry, no food. That's the rule." And they're like, "No, I said exhibitors can bring in food," and they're like, "First time hearing of it." And people were like tagging the people running the events and stuff, because if you're sitting at a booth and you're running a booth by yourself, like say you're in Artist Alley and it's just you at your table,
you can't leave.
You can't leave. Who's gonna watch your shit? Like, you may be sitting next to two artists who won't watch your stuff, or you don't know, or whatever. Like, maybe you have special dietary needs. Anyway, like, now ReedPop and Anime Expo were blaming that on poorly trained security at the venue, which could be true, but hey, that still falls under your purview. It's your event. Somebody mentioned that Star Wars Celebration was not enforcing masks very well. I was backstage, so I didn't see a lot of that, but you saw some of that, I know, and some other people told me about it as well.
Yeah, there were some stinky maskless people.
Especially, like, people, they were letting cosplayers through without masks, because the cosplayers were just like, "There's no mask in my costume," and they're like, "Okay."
Sounds good.
And the big problem with that was that, of course, Anaheim is part of Orange County, and Orange County says that you can't force your employees to wear masks. And so none of the security at the convention center was wearing a mask. And if they don't want to wear masks and they're not wearing masks, you think they're going to force people to wear masks? So the first day of that was pretty rough. Anyway.
As someone who was raised in Orange County, I'm sorry.
They also run the PAX events, which I think PAX goes pretty smoothly.
Yeah. And also PAX East and PAX Unplugged. No, PAX East is coming up. PAX Unplugged happened.
Yeah.
No. PAX Unplugged happens.
Eventually, on a year-long calendar, they all happen.
Whichever one took place like this year during COVID, 2022 COVID edition. Everyone that I know to East already happened. Everyone that I know that went to East said they had an excellent experience. They felt very safe. The mask mandate was like in effect and felt good. And I didn't have friends that came back with COVID.
I mean, that's got a lot to do with Robert Koo, who's the Penny Arcade, like, basically CEO, businessy man, is very hands-on with the events. Like, he convinced them to do the events and make them bigger, so it's kind of his pet project. You'll see, like, you can tell when the company who's running the event is being, or whose name is on the event, is being very hands-on with ReedPop. ReedPop tends to do better when the company is being very hands-on. If a company is very busy and like is like, "Okay, ReedPop, you handle this," things tend to fall through.
We'll see. However, and I know it's not a perfect event. What is? But if I can survive BlizzCon, I've never been to an E3.
I know.
And I wanted to go to one very badly.
Look.
So this means that I probably get to go to an E3 maybe. And I do think that that's very nice.
Look, there are things that I really love and miss about E3 for sure. Mostly the paychecks I used to get for E3. But it is also a huge event. There's something about being on the floor when all of these like big things are being announced. You know, we've talked before about how pegging things to E3 is a real problem because you're forcing teams to crunch in an industry that's already overfilled with crunch. A lot of things like that. Just getting the E3 demos out, the expense of it for AA and you know, indie developers is rough. But you know, it still is fun to all get together and be in an event, and you can't discount that. You really can't.
So I am a little excited. I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay to be a little excited. I am a bit
excited. One of the executives from ReedPop said it is a tremendous honor and privilege for ReedPop to take on the responsibility of bringing back E3. This was Lance Fensterman. Said with the support and endorsement.
Sounds like you made that up. It sounds like you made up that name. I don't know why. Say it again.
Lance Fensterman.
Yeah, that's you. That's definitely not real. Saige is making this up. And it's not even a silly...
Lance Fensterman.
It's not even like a silly name.
No.
It just sounds like you made it up.
It's the lack of confidence that I read it with the first time, and I understand that's on me. Anyways, they said with the support and endorsement of the ESA, we are going to build a world-class event to serve the global gaming industry in new and broader ways than we already do at ReedPop through our portfolio of world-leading events and websites.
Lance Fensterman is Jeff Keighley with a fake goatee, and he's going to tank it on purpose.
Lance Fensterman.
So there you go. E3, it's coming back. Who knew? I certainly didn't see it coming. In a very large... Here's another thing that we didn't see coming in big releases.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere yesterday. Freaking Robocop FPS.
Okay, now we are people who pay a particular amount of attention to new game releases, obviously.
And to Robocop. I love Robocop.
But with that in mind, I didn't know that this game existed, and now we've already got a gameplay trailer?
Nobody...
Did anyone have eyes on this?
Nobody did. It came out of nowhere. And not only did it come out of nowhere, it came from a company that, like, everybody is talking about, like, we've all heard of them a million times before. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I've never heard of Nacon. Who is Nacon?
Loud.
They had everybody was like, oh, at their big event, Nacon Connect. And I was like, oh yes, Nacon Connect. That event that we all know and love from Nacon.
Right.
What?
Hosted by Lance Fensterman.
Lance Fensterman presents Nacon. Uh-oh.
Nailed it.
There it is. All right, let's take a look at this Robocop Rogue City trailer. This is the PlayStation version, but it's coming out for multiple platforms.
In local news, a new crime wave that is sweeping Detroit has already claimed the lives of 21 police officers.
Disturbance? I'm a big fan.
Okay.
Big hair.
Now move.
It's good hair.
Okay. That's definitely Robocop.
Mm-hmm.
Looks all right.
Yeah.
Looks like looks like a mid-budget. Can you fly? Okay. They said the thing.
Yeah.
That's important to say the thing. Yo, that targeting system was added in post. No, I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
that targeting system is added in post.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not part of the game yet.
You know how you can tell partially? The targeting system overlaps the gun.
Yeah.
Like that big crosshair that's over it, when it passes by the gun, it is on top of it as opposed to in front of it.
Which, I mean, I guess makes sense for like the way the Robocop effects look, but you can just tell that it was added in post.
We all saw it hesitate in a life and death situation. Why?
Listen, I would trust this guy with my kids. I mean, if I had any. This was just an isolated glitch.
People without kids who say that, it means nothing.
I love...
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Now, this is the big news to me. It's actually Peter Weller. Like, Peter Weller hasn't played Robocop since Robocop 2. And that includes on the hit Robocop Saturday morning animated series for children.
Very interesting. The 2-4 said it looks like reverse GTA. Instead of doing crimes, you're going to stop them all.
I think so it looks like they're trying to put in the anti-establishment stuff that Robocop is famous for. We've talked before, though, about how that's kind of hard to do. Because you're still the robot cop shooting all the people.
Yep.
But the thing is, if you nail it right, like, Robocop is still... Like, if you watch Robocop today, you're like, oh, yeah, Paul Verhoeven called it. Like, this was supposed to be a dystopian future, but it's actually this is it. I think it's one of the best genre films of all time. I think it's one of the best movies of all time.
Wow.
It really its fingerprints are on everything good and dystopian still to this day. Paul Verhoeven just created a style that filmmakers are still aping every single day. I just don't know who this company is, and it looks like a severely mid-budget game.
It doesn't look bad. I agree. It looks pretty medium. It looks like a medium game.
It's pretty mid, as the kids would say.
I refused to say it.
You got to say, hey, go ahead and say it. How's it look to you?
Medium.
Good. There's a shorter way to say that.
Medium good.
No cap. Flannel Fries says no cap. It's
kind of mid, no cap.
Listen.
That one's pretty old, Anthony.
It's all pretty old. I'm pretty old. Robocop's pretty old.
Okay, bud.
Listen, I'm very interested in this. I think it's like, I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the Robocop game.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
It says it's going to combine first-person shooting with exploration of Detroit and multiple-choice dialogue. I love the idea of multiple-choice dialogue in a Robocop game.
I do too.
Because I think the third option should always be shoot them in the calf. Like, that's just what Robocop does. You watch the movie and it's like Robocop will say two things to you, and then if it's like, hey man, I don't like what you're saying, Robocop's like, I'm just gonna end this conversation right now.
Pop.
You're never gonna walk again. Robocop is a lot like a Batman in that way.
Yeah, I can see that. Batman
gives you two chances to say things and then just puts you in the hospital. And Robocop does the same thing. First person shooting people in the dick. Yeah. Yes. That's a scene from Robocop.
Got multiple people. I'm having to allow them in chat because Automod keeps being like, you can't want to let people say in the dick, right?
Yeah, no.
You don't want me to let people say shoot in the dick, right?
We're all thinking it. You better be able to shoot people in the dick. Also, Saige, wouldn't it be cathartic for you in the year of our Lord 2022 to be able to shoot people in the dick?
Here's a fact. I already can. Guns have more rights than I do. It is safer for me to do that than to probably just walk outside.
But you have a right to pad thai like you make it home.
I have a right to shoot people in the dick.
Right to shoot people in the dick.
I do not have a right to my body, though.
No, God no. God no. And listen, if Robocop needs to use somebody as a human shield, it's going to use a lady.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. The vibe's there. The vibe's there. We know it.
This same company, Nakon, also at their big event, Nakon Connect, that we've all heard of and we all watch every year, Nakon Connect, also announced that they're making a survival game, an open world survival game in the Terminator universe. It will be coming in the distant future, and it is about the distant future.
Okay.
That is what they say.
All right. Clearly, they're big 80s movies people.
Clearly.
I don't know how they got tasked with these IP.
Well, it's really interesting.
Who are these people?
Who is Nakon? It's very interesting. The Robocop thing makes sense a little bit because there is a Robocop prequel TV series that's being made right now.
Uh-huh.
Which, like, by the way, don't do it. Like, I want you to do it, but I also don't want you to do it. You know what I mean? It's going to be very hard to make, like... What if it ends up like the new Robocop? What if it ends up like Robocop 3?
Mm-hmm.
You know? What if it ends up like Robocop the animated series for kids?
Oh no.
That would actually be fun.
Yeah. I've never seen it.
There's a part in Robocop the series. They basically turn him into an Inspector Gadget, where like little fun things are popping out of his robot body all the time. Like in the movie, Robocop shoots somebody in the dick. In the cartoon, Robocop's like thigh holster opens.
Yeah.
And a bouquet of flowers comes out and he hands it to a lady.
All right.
Like the Robocop cartoon is wild.
Yeah, I could be into it. Now, I'm just trying to figure out, because like there's a certain level of trust that a company has to have to put IP in their hands, right? And I'm trying to figure out how they got it. And I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm genuinely investigating.
Come on,
here.
these are the people who made Bee Simulator, Saige.
Fisherman Planet, Farmers Dynasty. Okay, all right.
Saige.
They've done a good amount of sports games, but not any of the sports
Saige.
games that you know, like
These
rugby and handball and...
Saige.
Anthony?
These are the people that made Pro Cycling Manager 2020. You think they can't make Robocop the FPS?
And then here would be the most recognizable, like Vampire the Masquerade's Swan Song.
Woof! I was watching Xander play that game.
Yeah.
I was watching Xander play that game, and let me tell you
And
something.
Werewolf.
That game looks like an Xbox One game, or just an Xbox game. Maybe a 360 game. I'll say it's a 360 game. It looks like an Xbox 360 game that they pushed into the future, kicking and screaming, that vampire game. It looks awful.
It does. And I will also say, I'm just gonna put it on blast a little bit. They emailed me that game was coming out, and they were like, do you want to do a bunch of work for free?
Would you like to do some free work?
Would you like to promote us for free?
We made the game for $17. We have $3 left.
But it's not for you.
We got to pay ourselves.
Right. So do you think you would maybe want to promote it for free?
Maybe you would do it for free.
And I was like, I can't eat for free. And they were like, please.
Please for free.
Please for free.
Don't get in touch with people and ask them to work for free.
Don't ask anybody to work for free.
Don't ask anybody to work for free. Here's what you do if you don't have a budget. You see a streamer you like, you send them a code to the game. You don't send them, hey, would you like a code? Or what can we get in exchange for a code? You send them a code to the game. Here's the game. We hope you like it. If you want to stream it, that would make our day.
Yeah, because here's a few things. One, I'm going to need games to play. Having a game in my Steam library, I very well might just stream it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've been like, but what could we get for a game code?
Nothing.
The answer is nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, check it out. If you like it, play it. That's great. And I will. I don't get paid to play most of the games I play.
Look, Vampire Swan
And that's
Song
cool.
is going to be $12 next week. And maybe I'll pick it up then. Saige and I have Steam Family Sharing turned on.
We do.
So, like, maybe one of us breaks down and buys it, and then the other one's like, you broke down and bought it, now I'm going to try it out. But don't be like, we would like you to do 8 posts, and here's the hashtag you need to use, and it's, motherfucker, it's a game code. I'm a grown adult. I'll buy the game rather than deal with you.
I emailed them back because initially they just said all the stuff they wanted, and I was like, well, but how much for monies? Like, what's the compensation? And they said, we'll give you in-game extras.
Oh.
I could have I could have a digital art book.
Like the lighting will work?
No.
Like it's like in the extra, you won't get caught in the elevator. Xander got caught in an elevator for 15 minutes on the stream. He was like, I can't get out of this elevator. It's just looping.
I love Xander so much.
Xander, I mean, listen, and here's the beautiful thing about a Xander gaming stream is for the first 3 minutes, you maybe think that maybe Xander did something to get himself caught in that elevator. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then after like that 3 minutes, you're like, oh, Xander's in a glitch. And because he's Xander, he doesn't want to blame the game.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what did I do to make this game glitch?
Of course.
And like,
Love
no,
him so much.
no, Xander, you're caught in a glitch.
Also, Thickest Thor said we stand people who refuse to sell out. I'd like to make it abundantly clear. They just couldn't afford to make me sell out.
Yo.
They just didn't have the money for it.
Never been paid in my life unless I sold out a little bit. That's the point. The point is, if people gave you money not to sell out, what a perfect world that would be. If somebody was like, hey, Anthony Carboni, here's the money that you need to survive, and you don't have to do
What you're describing is socialism and universal basic income?
Yeah, wouldn't that be wild?
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't that be super wild? But I've never, listen, everybody knows I do a lot of my work for brands. And some brands I love more than others, and some brands let me do more than others. But there's always like an understanding of what's going to be said when I work for a brand.
Yeah.
Sometimes that just aligns with me, and sometimes it doesn't.
And we turn down, things that specifically do not, right? But in addition to that, I would also like to remind you all that taking sponsorships as a streamer is not selling out. When we do things on this channel, like, hey, you see us playing Raid Shadow Legends? Head down, don't ask. Don't ask me anything. Come by and actually add me on Raid Shadow Legends, because honestly... Anthony was not paid to play Raid Shadow Legends and got addicted to it.
Listen.
We went to breakfast and he wouldn't stop playing.
I am a sucker for a Skinner box, which is why I don't have any games on my phone.
Games on your phone?
Hey, you having games on your phone?
You got any games on your phone?
I'll do it back. Now, if you put a Skinner box in front of me, I'm going to play it for a week.
He did it for us, everyone. He downloaded it for us. He didn't use our code.
I didn't know. I came to the stream and I joined the group and I did the thing and I didn't know there was a code. I did everything wrong and I was just like playing it and I was like, okay, I got up to level 12. Like now you get the money, right? And Kaylee's like, yeah, you use the code, right? I'm like, what the fuck code are you talking about? There was a thing.
How would they know if you were just downloading it and playing?
Because I put in the thing. There was another thing for like bonus stuff, and I thought when you put in that code for the bonus stuff, they're tracking that.
It was very funny.
There were 2 codes.
I agree. NFTs count as selling out. Anything else, I don't know.
Yeah, I would never do there's
anything involving Elon Musk counts as selling out.
How much would an NFT have to pay you? Because let's be real. Everybody, let's be real. How much would an NFT have to pay you to do a sponsorship thing for an NFT? 100% real. What would it take?
I can't think of a number.
What if it was 6 figures? If it was $100,000 and you had to do one sponsored NFT stream, would you do it?
No. I'm thinking long term. You know what I mean? I'm thinking long term for the sake of there goes my career. Based on everything I've said on the internet, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Above just the moral belief that NFTs are terrible bullshit, there genuinely goes my career. And my career is worth more than $100,000.
That's true.
I'm not. I don't have a net worth of more than $100,000.
No, God, no. Neither one of us is.
In theory, the next 100 years I'll have to work because I can't afford to retire.
If it was for $100,000, I'd probably do it. And then the next day, just get on another stream and be like, y'all know I had to do that, right?
Oh my God, it's like the Doja Cat Taco Bell thing.
Yeah, I would do it like Doja Cat did for the Mexican pizza, where she clearly was like, yeah, I took your money.
She was like, hey, if you see me selling out tomorrow, head down.
Head down. Head down.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah,
you know what I mean? If you could lay the groundwork, I would definitely do it. I would definitely do it for $100,000. So, hey, Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now that your apes are worth $20, give us a call. These people who make the Robocop game have not made a lot of great games, and I'm fascinated.
I mean, I'm willing to show an email. Can I get in trouble for showing an email? We're really having a bold day today. This is my business email, and it's public, so I'm not afraid of it seeing mine. This is the one that's literally in my Twitter bio. Don't email it if it's not about business. But I got this email. Hi, our multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, AppLovin, is launching an NFT. We would like
AppLovin? You got reached out to by AppLovin?
What the fuck is AppLovin?
I don't know. I have no fucking clue.
We're expecting creators to average $50,000 to $100,000 on the first drop. So it was a reality for a moment. I don't know, no one's making that for realsies.
Now,
I know that.
But that's creators. I don't know. Listen, this is all bullshit. I don't scam my fans. It's a pass for me. She's a real one.
Thank you.
She's a real one.
That's an actual email that I sent 3 days ago.
50K up front is what I'd say. 50K up front. No cap. Don't be mid, I'd say.
Should I send another response?
Yeah, tell him don't be mid.
50K up front, don't be mid, no cap.
Yeah.
Anyways, just, we completely lost track of this show, Anthony.
Look, no, we didn't. We're doing the show. This is the show. In other very big "a video game is coming" news, Skull and Bones. You might remember Skull and Bones. I interviewed the lead developer of Skull and Bones in 2017 at E3. He got very angry at me because I was only asking him about shanties and animal friends.
That sounds perfect.
He was really just like, this is Ubisoft's open world pirate game. This is the game where, if it had come out, this is the game that was supposed to eat Sea of Thieves' lunch.
Yes.
Right? So the way this game worked is
how? Sea of Thieves is a perfect game.
It's a perfect game.
It's a perfect game.
It's a perfect game. No cap.
This game sounds mid.
She said it. The way this worked was Assassin's Creed 3 came out, had some boats. Assassin's Creed came out, and it had some boats, and we were like, oh, fuck yeah, boats.
Yeah.
And we were like, make one that's just boats. And then they came out with Assassin's Creed 4, and they were like, some boats? And we were like, no.
All boats.
There's still a lot of Assassin's Creed in this, and I hate that.
Give me just the boats.
So now they were like, okay, now it's an open world pirate sim. They've been working on it since 2017. 2017.
Publicly. That means they were goofing around with it since Assassin's Creed 3. Now, they now say that this thing is coming out on November 8th. PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, Skull and Bones. They made a little video. Oh my God, it's a long video. It's an hour and 13 minutes. Not a little video at all.
They're just talking about pirates.
I'll play it.
I mean, look, I'll give it a shot.
I'll try it.
I don't really play Ubisoft stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll give a pirate game a shot, maybe.
I mean, it's probably coming to Game Pass, right?
I mean, I would imagine. They've been working on it since 17 years. They've been working on it since baby.
If it's on Game Pass, I'll try it.
If it's on Game Pass, I'll give it a try. But it sounds like no. It sounds like they're going to try to do. So they said the entirety of Skull and Bones is playable solo, but they built the game with online PvE and PvP multiplayer in mind. Players will encounter one another in pirate dens, which are hub worlds where they can repair and outfit their ships, find partners on the high seas, and take on missions that increase their infamy.
So you made Sea of Thieves?
So they made Sea of Thieves.
I haven't heard them say anything that is not a feature offered within Sea of Thieves. And I would love to hear about some features that they have, because there's certainly ways to expand upon Sea of Thieves as a concept.
Yeah.
I think Sea of Thieves is a perfect game that I love very much.
It's very good.
But there are certainly ways to expand upon that. And it doesn't sound like they're doing it.
I think, Man, I'm trying to think of what I would want added to Sea of Thieves.
It's hard when it's a perfect game.
It's very hard. It's a perfect game.
Yeah. I would want them to take Jack Sparrow out.
Take out Jack Sparrow.
I would want
Now, one thing that I'm thinking of is XP in Sea of Thieves sort of doesn't do tons, right? It's really more about getting your skill up and getting your skill better. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that Ubisoft is going to add an entire progression tree to your pirate. Different skills, different XP things. Ubisoft loves a flow chart of skill points.
And I'm not mad at that. I think that would be interesting, leveling up different skills. I think what's perfect about Sea of Thieves, in my opinion, is as much as you level up as a pirate, you're leveling up emissaries to get access primarily to cosmetics, and occasionally to new quests and things like that.
Yeah.
But you aren't leveling up to the point where you jump on and there is simply a high level player that's just gonna fuck you up. Everyone starts over every time they log into Sea of Thieves, other than their emissary levels.
Yeah. So your missions and your cool
not
shit.
Their emissary levels, right?
Your missions and your cool shit are still there, but you're no stronger than anybody else. You're no faster than anybody else. Now, something that's very interesting that Disassembled J is saying. The choice of PvP and PvE is a big selling point for Skull and Bones for me, which is true.
Is there a choice between them?
Mm-hmm.
I do like that a lot. I would love a PvE exclusive Sea of Thieves server.
There's nothing that that can ruin a morning, a lovely morning of Sea of Thieves with friends, than having like a huge ship full of people just come and like trash your day.
Yeah.
Because you have no choice. You have no choice.
In a way where you're like, this doesn't even benefit you.
Yeah, you're just doing it to do it. Don't be dicks. Watch Our Flag Means Death. This isn't the way pirates act.
Hellquin said, I still can't hit another ship with a cannonball. I love so much to hit things with cannonballs. The ghost ship missions, perfect. Because I don't really want to go hit other players. I don't want to be the person that goes and ruins other people's day.
Yeah, no. That's not what pirates do. Watch Our Flag Means Death.
That's what I'm saying. And also watch the Are They Gay deep dive into a sociological analysis of Our Flag Means Death.
Yeah, it's very good. In more good news for videoed games, you like that Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've liked watching Elden Ring. I've not played it.
I love me some Elden Ring. And if you are familiar with Elden Ring, you might be familiar with a legendary player. A player known as LetMeSoloHer. LetMeSoloHer is a character, is a player that basically sits outside of Millennia's. Millennia is one of the harder bosses in the game. Everybody talks about, have you beaten Millennia? Like, blah, blah, blah. Can you solo Millennia? He sits outside where you can summon him. Doesn't play his own game. Other than to sit outside of Millennia and fight. And the way it works
and help other people fight, too, so everybody gets to defeat the boss.
So the way it works is, when you summon LetMeSoloHer, it's just like the name.
Yeah.
If you summon him, he wants you to back up and let him beat Millennia for you. Don't help him. LetMeSoloHer. If you help, he will stand back and let you die. You have to let him solo her. He's done it over 1,000 times. And so, to commemorate him and his 1,000 solo defeats of Millennia, Bandai Namco and From Software sent him a motherfucking sword.
Yeah, they did. That's pretty cool.
Like he's Carly Rae Jepsen. Name a single other person with a sword. You can't. It's really more of a rapier, but sure.
It's a type of sword. No, you're incorrect.
No,
you're wrong. That's a type of sword.
Does Carly Rae Jepsen have a sword? Oh, look up Carly Rae Jepsen's sword. It's a legend. It's a legend almost as good as the legend of LetMeSoloHer. You have a sword. You have multiple swords.
Correct.
Okay, but name a third person with a sword. Hard to say. Hard to say. This is like she's got to show us the collection now. Now that one I will argue.
A lightsaber is a type of sword.
That's not a real lightsaber.
A lightsaber is a type of sword.
It's more like a kendo stick. That's more like a practice staff.
Oh, do you have a real lightsaber? Is that why?
No, they're not real. That's what I'm saying.
A lightsaber is a type of sword.
If it was real.
Everyone in chat thinks it's a sword.
They sent him a sword.
You're not real.
They sent him a sword along with a plaque and some hand-drawn art. It's very, very exciting. The sword says Rise Tarnish. It's got engraved on it, on the blade.
Yeah, that's good.
I freaking love it. And also like a congratulations, like a personal letter from everybody at From Software. And I love this. I love this so much. It came in this beautiful box. Look at that.
Very fancy.
It's got wooden carved art.
Yeah.
They said it was sealed. The letter was sealed with wax.
Yeah.
It's got like a cloak. Look at that. That's a drawing of him. He only fights with a pot on his head in his underwear with 2 swords.
Yeah.
And he solos Melania that way. I love this. This is more fun little things like this. Particularly for like online games. You know what I mean? For online multiplayer games, if you've got somebody that's like playing your game for bazillion hours and is doing like really cool shit, call them out for it.
Absolutely.
Just let them know.
So you can see what LetMeSoloHer looks like.
Oh my God, somebody made a little LetMeSoloHer figurine. Look at that. I love it. I love it so much. LetMeSoloHer.
So good.
To be continued. Well, video games are good.
That's it?
That's what I want to say about that. Video games are good sometimes. But I do want to say sometimes sad things happen in the world of video games.
That is very true. And this is the most common sad thing to happen in the world of video games. Second
Online harassment?
Second to predatory behavior from developers, is a game being delayed.
Hey, look, a lot of people are going to tell you that games shouldn't be delayed anymore because we're out of the pandemic. And I'm going to tell you that Los Angeles has a positive test percentage of 16.3%, the highest it's ever been.
We are not out of the pandemic, in fact. So Forspoken has been delayed. They said for strategic reasons, whatever that means. I think we could all just be like, because of the world.
Yeah, strategic reasons could mean, a lot of things have been shifted around in Square Enix's release calendar because of the pandemic. And it could be that, hey, they looked at their Q4 and they were like, we're releasing too many games in Q4. We're going to cannibalize the audiences on our own games. That happens a lot. Entirely
possible. They said that all of the game elements are now complete and development is in its final polishing phase.
PlayStation said, get away from God of War, says Tybor2. That's a big one, right?
That's entirely possible.
Who wants to release against God of War? Blade of Creation asks, is this the Gary Whitta joint? It is. Friend of the show, Gary Whitta, wrote this game.
So they said that Forspoken will... they will share more about Forspoken later this summer. We don't have an update as to when it is delayed exactly. No, it is. Moved to January 2023, but they'll give more updates at the end of the summer. They're going to give a little bit of time for God of War to do all their updates, and then they'll be back to tell you a little more about Forspoken, and you can expect it in January of next year.
Here's the thing. There aren't enough these big single-player games these days. They're becoming they're becoming fewer and far between, right? Because they take a lot of development manpower. They take a lot of time. They have very high production values. And so, you look at a studio makes one of these very big single player games every few years. They don't want Forspoken, after all the work they put into it, to have to go up against a crowded quarter. And I appreciate this because Forspoken is a very interesting idea. It has an interesting look to it. And I want it to have room to breathe and hopefully catch on.
Yeah, I agree. I think that delays are a good thing also because it means a little bit of time for the team to put out the game that they want and not crunch for it.
Yeah, and I think, if they really are on the polishing phase, that's kind of nice because that means instead of like rushing to add little details, like you're saying, they've now got until next year to like take a look at things and like tweak them more than they normally would. Something that might have been, oh, we wish we could have updated that, or we wish we could have like sanded off the edges on that.
Yeah.
They'll have a little more time to do it.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Skywalker said Cyberpunk could have used a delay or two. Speaking of games that could have used a delay or two, let's talk about Marvel's Avengers.
Woof.
This is one of the funniest stories.
Listen, if you ever see me, and I'm just saying this, and I'm not saying it for any particular reason. If you ever see me hosting an event about Marvel's Avengers.
Head down.
Head down.
Head down.
Okay?
Okay. Anthony, will you open this one up?
Yeah.
So, the other day they were doing a live stream on the Xbox official Twitch channel, and they had a streamer playing through a bit of Marvel's Avengers with the developer. He was playing with Brad Wagner, who's a lead designer at Crystal Dynamics.
Wagner.
It's Lance.
Is Lance Fensterman. So this is the stream.
Okay, you got to take it back. I'm gonna hear it.
Okay, I don't like the face of Bryce. Funny, you want a funny fact about She-Hulk? I don't know if I can say this. I think it was public knowledge. I'll just say this. Okay, I don't like the face of Bernie's Maybe I shouldn't say it. I think it's public now. She announced it. Okay, so my acting coach. I act, guys. I'm in the world of acting. I call it the world of getting denied in auditions.
We get it.
This guy's got a type 5.
You always land the roles that you don't think you're gonna get, and you don't land the roles you really
Relatable.
want.
Okay.
My acting coach is actually the voice of She-Hulk.
In what, bud?
And I won't say her name because I don't know if that was acknowledged yet. I think it is. It was announced.
Definitely off camera.
Nope, we've never announced She-Hulk.
He is typing furiously. That Brad is typing furiously to somebody.
Nope, we've never announced She-Hulk.
Oh, technique.
Live on the Xbox Twitch channel, directly in front of a game designer, he leaked that She-Hulk is coming to Marvel Avengers.
Now listen, I'm gonna say this. It seems from that clip, like our friend Technique is just starting to do hosting stuff. Is maybe just starting to like bring in these sort of like larger clients and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the guy is not like a super experienced industry professional based on the fact that he explained auditions.
Yeah, but
he's a streamer.
Right. So my thing is, you could tell he's beginning, and this is a big mistake to make.
That sucks.
And I think he's probably beating himself up over this. And I'm going to tell you, don't beat yourself up over this. Everybody makes mistakes.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you this, like, Xbox probably isn't mad at you.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Crystal Dynamics and Square are known to be a little about private knowledge. So you might have to mend some fences there. You might not host anything for them for a little while, but that's okay.
The concern is also because if she is under NDA, the person playing the voice of She-Hulk, she could potentially be in trouble. So, like, you have to be careful with these things, which is very, very unfortunate. And here is the thing, Crystal Dynamics, here is the thing, Xbox, we hire a lot of people to host things because they are streamers. Streamers and hosts are two different skill sets. We do not blame streamers for not being able to host, but also, if you hire a streamer with the expectation that they're a professional host, that's what you get.
I mean, that's the sort of thing where, like, they should have given you all of the info beforehand. Who's announced, who's not announced, what can you say, what can't you say? Before I host anything, I'm always like, hey, what's off the table? What's coming up? I was like, what's your timeline look like? Because I may know some things just from, like, hearing stuff from people.
But you are also a professional host by trade.
That's true. That's true.
A streamer doesn't know to ask those questions.
But from the PR side, the streamer should be handed some sort of guide or sat down and been like, okay.
And they never do provide that.
It's very rare. It's very rare. But when I do get one, I'm very excited. It's kind of, so I Am Mr. Bo says the voice actor had already accidentally tweeted about it a few months back, maybe why he got confused. That's true. Like, that's true. If she had already said something publicly, he could have not known that she wasn't allowed to. Yeah,
there's nothing
there's a lot going
about
on.
that.
Yeah.
It's possible it happened, but I don't see anything about that.
Yeah. Why not? And Mystic Waffle is saying, why not just roll with it, say it's funny, and that She-Hulk is coming. If I'm Brad Wagner.
Brad Wagner, who has not been given permission to announce She-Hulk, nor is the person that they would want to announce She-Hulk.
He's their lead developer in the States or Canada. I forget where it's being made mostly. Square is a Japanese company. If you are working for a Western office for a Japanese company, one thing you know is Japan makes the rules. If Brad Wagner is not allowed to say anything about She-Hulk, and he has one line that he's been given in media training, which is, we have not announced anything about She-Hulk. We don't talk about new characters early. That's all he's allowed to say. And if I was Brad Wagner, I would have done the same thing he did. Write that little email and be like, hey, you guys need to handle this, and be like, we haven't said anything about She-Hulk.
I will agree that there was a lot of preamble where he probably could have stepped in and stopped him. But again, this other person, Brad Wagner, is also not a host and doesn't know how to handle this.
Yeah. There should have been somebody on Discord or in Technique's ear that was like, hey, if you're not sure if it's public, don't say anything about it.
Yep.
If you're not sure.
Because he was like, I'm not sure. And Brad was just like, what is he going to say? Oh, no.
Yeah.
You can see his face like, oh.
I mean, Blade of Creation is also saying, it's not surprising that She-Hulk is coming. Sure. I mean, you would imagine that barring Marvel's Avengers finally sinking into the tar pits where it will eventually be, they're going to put every Marvel character in it that they can.
Yeah, it's not the biggest leak. It's just, it was a big stream to do it on. Poor guy.
Yeah, I hope, I hope repercussions on Technique are not huge, because he was clearly just excited for his friend and his coach and wanted to big up somebody that he knows. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. In some other interesting gaming news,
hire experienced hosts.
Everybody, yeah.
Pay them what they're worth.
Everybody who has been, just like us, complaining for a while about having to log into Facebook on their Quest, Meta has what they think might be a solution for you.
Oh, good. They're just going to kill that, and I can just go straight into the headset.
Or go back to your Oculus account. No.
No. Oh,
no.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Now you can log in with a Meta account instead. Here's what I will say. Meta and Facebook are the same thing, obviously. Meta is the parent company of the platform of Facebook. Meta is the company, Facebook is the platform. I like not having to have a Facebook. There were a lot of people who were like, I've deactivated my Facebook. I don't want to do this. They have said that the information required to sign into or sign up for a Meta account is not as in-depth as the information you would have on a Facebook.
So misleading. Because of all of the cookies and information that they're sharing between sites, it's functionally no different. Once you sign up for a Meta account and you're logged in, all of the tracking code that they use across everything is still going to work.
That's absolutely true, but the information that you would have to type in and enter will be less, you know?
Okay.
And it's not, then you don't have to be on Facebook.
So the perception that I'm selling myself out, it goes down, but the fact that I'm selling myself out is still 100%. I love that.
It's okay, buddy.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
Okay.
None of this stuff is okay.
Point is, either
That's
way.
so shady.
The point is, either way, if you've been using your Quest and you've had to have a Facebook active for it, you no longer have to have a Facebook active for it. Meta owns the Quest. We know to have a Quest, you're going to have to sign up with Meta. They literally own it.
I know, but
you mean like where it's like, oh my God, I bought this game and I can't believe I have to sign up for this game.
I wish they would.
It's realistic. I don't like Meta. I don't agree with Facebook. I think that it's terrible. But like, you have to be able to accept and realize that like, if you own their product, you sign up with them.
And that's fine. And I do. This is just a shady thing that's saying like, don't sign up. Oh, you think this thing is bad? Oh, maybe you're right. We're not going to say it's bad because we own it, but here's a different way you can do it. And it's smoke and mirrors. They're assuming that we don't know anything about dark patterns and UX design and cookies and tracking code and all of this stuff. They're just like, here's a Meta one, and you don't have to give us that much information anymore. And it's such a PR move, and it's such a lie. If you really are saying you have to sign up for a Facebook account to use this, just fucking say it. Just be like, sorry, you have to have one.
I like the idea of not having to have a social profile attached to it.
Sure.
Personally, I don't want to attach a social media profile. I am willing to log into something. I have a Quest. I use my Quest. I like it. But to not have to have a public social profile attached to that is a gain. If they're already taking my information, this is an improvement.
It's a minimal improvement. It's very minimal. The thing about having
it's a big improvement for me.
The thing about having the Facebook social profile is like, yes, like my social profile on Facebook is very locked down. I don't log into Facebook. I haven't used Facebook in years. But so like functionally, nobody's clicking on my Facebook profile. I don't use my Facebook, and I still get dozens of friend requests a week from random dudes with no mutual friends. So this helps me. Sure, but the worst part of this, the part where Meta has your information, is selling your information,
yes,
is doing political work with your information. All of that stuff is still just as true.
Absolutely.
Because once you're logged into that Meta account on your machine and you go anywhere, unless you're always be using a very locked down browser, always make sure, tracking cookies are turned off on everything, all of that stuff, but they'll still get information from you. And I just hate that. It's gross. It's gross. Boo Meta. Boo Meta for making the best VR headset. It makes me very angry.
They're there.
I hate that I love my VR headset and it's made by the bad people.
While we're talking about bad people, let's talk about Jameson Stone a little bit.
Woof!
Now, we didn't cover this in general because the people were very insignificant, quite simply. But this is where it does get into our territory a little bit. For those of you who don't know, we like lightly touched on it a few weeks ago. Satine Phoenix and Jameson Stone are a couple within the tabletop RPG space that scammed a bunch of people out of money, that horrifically abused people that worked for them, took advantage of their positions of power, and were overall shit-fucking people.
Couple of real jerks.
Couple of real jackasses. But they also own a book publishing company called Apotheosis Studios. This was originally Jameson's company that Satine was on one of 3 employees for. It was just like Satine, Jameson, and like one other person.
How is any company these two were running still working? It makes physical goods and somehow it's still running, and they haven't paid anybody in like ever.
And we didn't talk about this because we also don't want to be one of the few people that were just making their entire livelihood on dunking on someone when there's bigger people to dunk on. Quite simply, it's weird to make your entire presence about this specifically one woman in the tabletop industry that didn't have that much influence.
Not that we're talking about anybody specific.
Not that we're talking about anybody specifically, but actually a good few people were doing it. This was the biggest piece of news they could possibly be talking about.
Well,
it had the Amber Heard effect on it. It did.
Yeah. It's one of those things where one YouTuber does something bad and then every YouTuber you watch for the next 3 weeks is just story after story on that, you know?
I know a lot of people who said, wow, finger wave at you, Satina Jameson, who I've seen do a lot worse, but that's besides the point.
Ooh.
Anyways,
Get
we're
that
a little
AdSense.
spicy this morning.
We're so spicy
we're
this
a little
morning.
Spicy
Have you noticed how spicy we are this morning?
This morning. Anyway, so yeah, they scrubbed Jameson off of all of the stuff. He was like, I'm stepping down as CEO of my company.
Which is hard to do because he leaves a stain.
And my wife is taking the spot. So it should be totally fine now, right, guys? You still want the books, right? The answer is no. Nobody really wanted the books in the first place, and still don't. It's still your company.
This fucking Clarence Thomas ass shit
And
where
then-
it's like, no, my partner did bad things, but I never heard. We sleep in 2 separate beds, like on a 1950s sitcom. I've never spoken to my partner about anything.
Right. And then after a couple of weeks, when people didn't accept that as enough, he was like, well, fine, I'm coming back then. But now I'm the
We're
CEO
too spicy.
again.
I'm getting more candy.
No,
We
it's
need more
my,
candy.
I am the CEO then. Fuck you. If you didn't like what I did anyways, then I'm back. Put himself back on the website immediately, was just hoping for the attention to die down and no one to notice. That was the last update. The current update is Apotheosis Studios will not offer refunds to those requesting it post allegations of abuse. You just keep those out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just keep those around.
All right.
We got dark chocolate peanut butter cups now. Yeah, so they said the studio plans to release a statement soon calling the allegations against Stone inaccurate.
Woof. Well, we know that's not true.
No, we've met him. Have you?
There are receipts, my guy.
Have you met Jameson?
I've never met him. I've met Satine a couple times, but no. That's why I don't mind. That's why the second this shit came out, I was like, good, fuck them. Because I don't have the complications of any ties with them, which some people we know do, and it's been tough for them. But
and we don't blame the people around them. There are certainly different sides, especially that professionals in the industry show to different people, and especially if they are only taking advantage of the people that they consider to be in a position below them. The people who are around them at the same level, most of the time won't see it. But I sure did anyways. That's besides the point. Yeah, this sucks. They're not offering refunds to those who are like, I don't want your fucking book anymore, you absolute schmucks.
And their response is there's nothing wrong with the book.
Yeah.
You ordered the book's coming.
Right. What I did recognize beforehand was that he was a big simp for, what's that guy's name? The really, really spooky, cult leadery guy that's been banned from the internet recently. Rebanned from the internet for aggressively, misgendering people.
Oh, Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. He was a big Jordan Peterson guy.
Woof. Anybody who thinks Jordan Peterson is fucking smart.
Fuck Jordan Peterson.
Fuck Jordan Peterson. I'm going to say idiotic, racist, sexist things, but I'm going to use large words. That makes it smart. I have a doctorate. Big deal. In a few months, I'll have a doctorate in cryptozoology. Saige is going to have a doctorate in fucking ghost hunting, and then we'll be just as smart as Jordan Peterson. Guess what? We already are.
True. Anyways, that's the update on that. I got one more weird little spicy story.
A little spicy story?
I got one more weird little spicy story.
Okay, get a little spicy.
Let's get into the tea a little bit.
Get a little spicy, and then we'll pull it back out of this nosedive. The spicy nosedive. We're like a chip being dipped into salsa, and we're going to pull it back up.
A petition was recently filed by Elon Musk to have 2 children, twins, last names.
Removed from Earth.
Sent to fucking Mars.
Shot into space. Put in a car that gets launched into space. It's fucking douche.
2 little babies.
2 babies.
To have their last name changed to the last name of their father. Musk.
Dun 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 dun.
These are twins that were with the CEO of Neuralink, Siobhan Zillis.
Of course they were. Of course they were.
Which were born, weeks before his second child with Grimes.
Yo,
born.
This dude's setting up franchises. Look, we've heard a lot of stories about Elon Musk, and I'm not saying that if you see a woman in a high position at an Elon Musk company, ask her to blink twice. But definitely ask her to blink twice. Just be like, if anything's like, if you are in
danger,
if you're in danger, or you're, you had to do some things that you're not proud of, like, what's up? What's up?
Like an actual public petition? No, not like an internet petition, a real petition, like to petition the courts to change their last name.
A legal petition. That would be such an Elon Musk thing to do, though.
Sign this petition to get my twins' last names to my name.
I want my twins' last names to be my name. Sign this petition so that jerk will do it. And Pickle Rick's the funniest shit I've ever seen. This guy turns himself into a pickle, Saige.
So, Siobhan Zillis is not the CEO, but she's a top executive at Neuralink. And secretly had twins in November of 2021.
Do you remember when Elon Musk was like, let me put a chip in your brain?
Yeah, I do.
Out of all the people, let me put a chip in your brain. You remember when he said that?
It's only cute when they say it in Miss Marvel.
Put a chip in your brain. This dude sucks. Now, if he's having their names changed, does that mean he's going to financially support them? Because there are some children that he has, and some...
he's got 9 kids.
And he doesn't support them all, I'll tell you that much.
Bro's got 9 kids.
That we know of. Anyway, Elon Musk sucks.
That's too many.
That's too many. Hey. You want some, cool little news?
Yeah.
That's very exciting for Anthony's mostly.
Only for Anthony's. I saw it and I clicked past it and I was like, if Anthony really wants it, I'll put it in.
And I did. Folks, there is a prolific video game translator by the name of Hilltop. You might remember Hilltop because last year we spoke about Hilltop. Hilltop translated Racing Lagoon, Squaresoft's PS1 Car PG, where you're a street racer.
Car PG is good.
It's a car PG. I've been wanting to play that game for 20 years. Hilltop finally translated it. He's done it again. That son of a bitch, he's done it again. He has translated a game named Aconcaqua, which I've always wanted to play. It's an adventure game about 5 people who are in a plane crash in the Andes and have to survive.
Yes.
I'm so freaking hype about this. I've been wanting to play this game forever.
Of course you have.
Between this, Mizurna Falls, and Racing Lagoon, there were 3 PS1 games that I've never gotten to play that I've always been fascinated by. And now they're all translated. I've gotten to play every single one of them. They're all just as weird as I would have hoped. It's such a strange game. I love it so much. This one was particularly interesting because all the cutscenes and voice acting were in English to begin with.
But the game itself could not be played in English.
Yeah, the adventure parts of it were only in Japanese. Anyway, I'm very excited.
That's great.
It comes out in 3 days.
Sorry, I thought we had moved on from games. They had something for after the Elon Musk story.
Oh!
It's okay. But it's relevant to games and to
yes.
boy bosses.
Now,
we've talked about Axie Infinity in the past, the huge scam that Axie Infinity is. And I have some interesting news that are complicated feelings around it.
Yeah.
So Axie Infinity was the one that we talked about previously that was essentially like farming, like slave labor essentially, of like unfair prices to continue mining crypto within the game for people to make more crypto money.
So the game is essentially a Pokemon thing, but the Axies, the little Pokemon, are NFTs. And so to make new NFTs, you have to play the game and mate these Axies. And what was happening is there were these things called scholarships, where wealthy people would hire gamers in other countries and pay them horrible, horrible wages to make NFTs for them and give them a percentage of the money.
Yucky, 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 yucky. But what's wild is there was a big hack.
Dun, 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 dun.
They lost $540 million in crypto.
I hope it was one of those kids in the Philippines that had to work for them that figured it out and made $500 million off of them.
Anthony?
Yes, Saige.
It was one of those password phishing scams.
It always is with crypto.
The person who developed the game fell for one of those little, just like tiny little phishing
Why do
schemes.
crypto people always fall for that
It's
shit?
just a phishing scheme.
Oh, hey man, it's me, Dave. I need your password. Oh, Dave. What's up? Sure. The password to my crypto millions. Sure. A fucking phishing scam. This is the thing. This is how you know that the NFT and crypto space is just full of scammers. Scammers fall for other scammers. Real industry professionals don't fall for phishing scams like this. Maybe somebody or your company does, but IT is like ready for it, right? IT is like, hey, you did a fucky.
So
These people are just scammers running scams on other scammers.
So an Axie Infinity engineer was scrolling through LinkedIn looking for a job, and
Sure.
the job offer was a phishing scam, and they clicked through. It was a LinkedIn job offer fucking phishing scam that offered an extremely generous compensation package, and in it was a PDF file.
Yo, they actually held multiple rounds of interviews. They actually interviewed these people to make it seem real.
Because they got $540 million in crypto, which again is nothing, but still, it's not real. But man,
It's real if they dump it immediately right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think this is hilarious because, I mean, it's unfortunate because they're taking advantage of people that wanted to get away from being an Axie Infinity developer, which get out of the crypto space. Do it. I mean, I'm not feeling too sorry
Do
for
it.
Axie Infinity.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, that person
Nah.
was just looking to get away from this terrible job.
yeah,
And, like,
probably looking for another terrible job.
yeah, it might have been another terrible crypto job. I mean, look.
Anyways, the blockchain is not secure if this can happen.
We should run a scam on crypto people.
I want to be the new crypto queen.
We should be the crypto queen. Listen. It's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. Let's just take it from
I
them.
could be the crypto queen.
You could be the crypto queen.
You could be the crypto queen.
Any of us could be the crypto queen. We could just do a little fishy. A little fishy wishy. Crypto Flannel Fry saying crypto dudes never used LimeWire on the family computer. You can't
And it
open that
shows.
MP3.
And it shows.
You gotta scan that MP3 first. That is not the song Butterfly by Crazy Town. Watch out. That is the Crazy Town virus.
In just a fun thing that's not really news, NVIDIA shared this incredible custom PC, and I love decorative custom PC cases. I love clever creations of weird shapes. When I was hosting the Cooler Master one, they have a shark-shaped PC.
I like pasta in weird shapes.
Very
when
similar.
Like when it looked like a dinosaur.
Very similar.
Oh, I love that shit.
They were showing off one that looked like a shark. They were showing off one that was shaped like a shoe, Anthony. Have you seen the Cooler Master shoe PC?
A shoe PC? No, I think that's wonderful. I love a fun PC. Listen, have a fun PC. You know what I mean?
As a tweet.
It's sitting there in your house all the time. Make it your own. Make it match the decor.
Just for context.
Oh, that's fun.
Like, that's really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's based on one of those like open cases. Yeah, that's fun.
Incredible. I think these are very, very cool. I love stuff like this. And NVIDIA just shared this one. It's a chainsaw.
Yeah, it is.
It's a chainsaw PC.
Yeah, it is.
Person goes by Tips.
It's me, Tips. Some of your hot tips on crypto people to scam.
Look at how cool this is with the blood splatter and everything. So they made like the base of the chainsaw and the stand for it.
I love it.
Oh, come on.
That's so good.
Right, want to play Doom on that?
You know what I want?
I want you to be real careful about chewing into that mic.
You know what I want? I want that GameCube controller for Resident Evil that was a chainsaw.
Yeah.
I still want that.
Yeah, that's good.
I always love stuff like that. And I always think about what would be if I wanted a custom PC.
Mm-hmm.
What would I want it to look like? You know what I mean? Because I would want it to fit with my decor. I'd want it to fit with who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bloody chainsaw isn't for me.
It is for me.
But I often think about that.
What if it looked like a little strawberry?
She's in her strawberry phase.
I am. I'm calling it cottage gore.
It's strawberry season.
Which means it's always time for chainsaws and strawberries.
What would you want your custom piece? Somebody says a police box. Yeah, that would be good, like a little TARDIS PC.
Oh, that is cute. It would be shaped like the last Mac Pros.
Yeah, Gundam PC, sure.
Gundam PC is really good.
Yeah.
I want a coffin-shaped PC. That would be the dream. Like, genuinely, if I could think of anything, one that looks like a coffin.
And that's pretty easy, too. That's like an easy
like
one.
a classic coffin,
yeah.
Not like a realistic one.
Yeah, that would be fun. I don't know what I would want. I just always try to buy like the cleanest, simplest looking PC case I can buy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably something that would make me go, ooh, a PC. Ooh. Hey, everybody, shut up. Big news.
Tell us the big news.
If you're a Marvel zombie.
Yeah, let's talk about that big news.
Okay. We know that there is a Disney Plus series coming called Echo, based on the comic character.
Mm-hmm.
I like Echo. I think Echo's a really sick character. Echo was introduced in the Hawkeye series.
Yes.
And something else happened in the Hawkeye series. I think we're beyond spoiler times, but hey.
I haven't watched it, but I got most of them, so.
Yeah, mods will let you know when spoilers are over in the chat.
I don't know if they will.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But here's what I'm going to say. Somebody showed up in Hawkeye, and that somebody was fucking Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin.
Yeah.
And then, in Spider-Man, No Way Home.
No Way Home.
We got the Daredevil.
The Daredevil.
Daredevil. Lord Charles of Cox. Yep.
I actually think we could take that again.
Nope. I'm sticking with it.
You wanted to take it back one more time?
Lord Charles of Cox.
No. It wasn't really the emphasis.
Lord Charles of Cox.
I think actually, we're just gonna.
Daredevil. And so now, in Echo, we have gotten some confirmation. Not directly from Marvel, but from some sources. That Daredevil and the Kingpin are going to be appearing in multiple episodes of Echo. Now, that's very good. I've been waiting for Daredevil and Kingpin to come back into the MCU.
And we know that there's been a Daredevil series in development as well, so this is very interesting.
Now, there is one more rumor, and I want you to go like this. I'm going like this.
You can mute, and when we put our hands down, you can unmute if you don't want any rumor spoilers.
So here's what's up. The rumor is Daredevil is on the hunt for somebody, and that somebody is Jessica Jones.
Which would be so cool. I'm not gonna put it down. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it up. I love her so much, and she deserves so much more. And it was the greatest fucking show.
It was
I
the
love
best.
Jessica Jones.
Listen, as much as I love Daredevil, and Daredevil was clearly more. It was more successful as a
And this
superhero.
is just a rumor.
As a superhero show, it hit more. It hit more of the important things for more people. But I think Jessica Jones is the best television series Marvel has ever made. Season 1 is definitely the best season of television Marvel has ever made, and I've been waiting to hear about Jessica
Including
Jones.
all of the new Disney Plus stuff?
God, I really do love WandaVision.
WandaVision and Miss Marvel are also very high for me.
WandaVision and Miss Marvel are very high for me, but man, Jessica Jones is still up there.
Same. Jessica Jones is also still up there for me.
So I think
just fucking love Jessica Jones. I love how we put up spoiler hands and then everyone in the chat just said it.
yeah, everybody in the chat was
we can
just
put
like,
our hands down.
All right,
Literally, some people were just like Jessica Jones.
folks,
Folks.
tranquilo,
Be
Cecino.
cool. Be cool.
Be cool, my babies.
Dude, this week's Ms. Marvel was so fucking good. I won't say a damn thing about it.
No, I'm behind,
that's very
so.
spoilery. I'm just saying it's so good. This whole series has been incredible. Everyone's like been watching the episodes piece by piece and been like, man, if it stays this good, and it's just stayed that good.
And I'll tell you, it was a sleeper out of the gate. More and more people have been watching it as it's gone on, and I'm so glad.
It's almost like releasing it on the same night overlapping with the last 3 weeks of Obi-Wan was a weird choice.
Now, I'm not gonna say it wasn't a weird choice. What I will say is I think that their strategy, their thinking on it was like, hey, when you sit and watch TV, you watch one show after the other. Maybe by putting them both on the same day.
Not at midnight.
You'll watch Obi-Wan, and then you'll be like, oh, Obi-Wan was good. Let me check out what else is new. I'll check out Miss Marvel.
No, you're only going to watch one in a midnight release.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I think, I'm just saying it feels like 90% of people wait for the midnight and watch it at midnight. Like very few people are like, let's sit down in the middle of the day and watch, Obi-Wan, and then we'll follow it up with Miss Marvel.
Right.
People don't watch it like regular TV.
Right.
But I think
we don't want to get spoiled, so you got to watch it as early as possible, and it's impossible to do both.
Yeah.
So you had to prioritize which is more important to not get spoiled for you.
So I think it was something that Disney Plus was trying. I think it did not work for them, and unfortunately Miss Marvel took the brunt of that damage, and hopefully they are not going to allow that to kind of harsh on Miss Marvel's success. They'll keep it. They'll come back for a season 2, hopefully.
Friend of the show, Kirby, in the chat said, do you think that it should be longer? It's such a well-paced season, in my opinion, that I'm just absolutely certain there should be more seasons. But I'm okay with us like pausing with this because we've got a great arc happening, but I absolutely want more of it. Definitively, yes.
Something that's the thing that's really interesting to me, that you just hit on is it's very well paced, which Disney Plus shows always have pacing problems. Miss Marvel has not had a pacing problem for me.
Not for me either.
Every Disney episode, we talked about this when we were doing the Kind of Funny Obi-Wan show. Disney Plus series tend to like to do 2 episodes Act 1, 2 episodes Act 2, 2 episodes Act 3, and it makes your pacing really freaking weird.
And people are having a hard time consistently with Act 2 in those.
Yeah, because Act 2, from a writing perspective, is always supposed to be double the length of your other acts. So it makes the beginning feel slow, the middle feel weird, and the end feel rushed. And it's doing it for every series. I think
Miss Marvel, man.
I think Moon Knight in particular suffered from that, and it's a bummer because I love Moon Knight. They've all been good, but we've
got a lot of great friends that worked very hard on Miss Marvel, and it came out very good.
And man, the fact that Miss Marvel was the team that solved that pacing problem, I just love.
I'm very proud of that.
I hope Disney Plus and Marvel Studios understand what a special thing they have with Miss Marvel and what a special team they have that's really understanding the space. Speaking of special teams at streaming outlets, the Duffer brothers went ahead and announced their new production shingle, Upside Down Productions, along with a bunch of new projects, including Stranger Things spinoffs, a stage play, which I'm very interested in hearing more about.
Very interesting.
But they are going to try to take on something that Netflix has already tried to take on before and not done well with.
They're going to be taking on a live-action Death Note.
If you're feeling a sense of deja vu, Netflix has tried to make a live-action Death Note before. They made a film. The best part of that film was the fact that they got Willem fucking Dafoe. The rest of it,
honestly, that should be his middle name.
Willem fucking Dafoe.
Like it just flows like genuinely like a name.
I think it is. I think it is.
So yeah, the Duffer Brothers are gonna try and take it on. Is this a series, Anthony?
This is gonna be. I think this is going to be a series. They're taking on this as a series, and then they're also taking on Stephen King's The Talisman, which I think makes a lot of sense because if you've read The Talisman and you've watched Stranger Things, it's the same.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers pulling from Stephen King's library is like such a great move.
Particularly kids visiting parallel worlds and stuff like that. Like, it's The Talisman. The only thing that The Talisman has is it's way more like fantasy based, and it has more of a fairy tale vibe than Stranger Things does.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be fun to see them watch that. The Death Note thing, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
They said it will be an entirely new take. It'll have nothing to do with the 2017 live-action Death Note film.
Except for Willem Dafoe, right? Like, you're going to bring back Willem Dafoe, right?
We'll see. I also hope they don't mess it up. That's kind of where I'm at with it. With like anime adaptations, especially created in America, I'm always like, okay, well, we'll see. We are moving into a place though where like Netflix was doing really bad at everyone in America was doing really bad adaptations for a minute, and then we got to some areas where we're like, okay,
not too
Cowboy
bad.
Bebop was very, very fun.
Yeah, it was very different than Cowboy Bebop, which a lot of people didn't like, but I liked it as a live action series.
I liked it too. So I have more faith in them than I have ever had before. We'll see.
Peter Lau says, I don't know why they're so keen on doing Death Note again. And here's what I think. You know, often when a company makes a production deal and makes a production deal with a studio or a streaming outlet or something like that, they bring their own ideas to the table, and then the streaming place or the network or the studio takes out their box of toys and says, well, here's what we have the rights to now.
Yeah.
Would any of this be interesting to you? And I have a feeling their option on Death Note was about to run out.
Yeah.
Like, they made it in 2017. It was probably like, if you continue, the way these deals usually work is, if you continue making Death Note projects, you will keep the rights for X number of years. It's sort of like, as long as Sony makes a Spider-Man once a decade, Marvel can never have Spider-Man back. There's probably a deal where if they make a new Death Note,
they
don't
don't lose the rights to it. Yeah. I agree. Burn the Ghost in the Shell movie with fire, but we don't need to blame ScarJo for it. And I know that you're not saying you are, but man, everyone really blames ScarJo as if she made that movie and cast herself in it. Scarlett Johansson gets treated like shit about it for no fucking reason when the creator of Ghost in the Shell personally chose her to be in it. That was not American production company. That was not a casting director here. The creator of Ghost in the Shell was like, I want Scarlett Johansson. You, Scarlett Johansson, I think you are perfect for this role, and I think this is appropriate casting.
Yeah, and also, you know, people look at the fact that she was an EP, an executive.
Totally not your fault, lots of kittens.
People look at the fact that she was an EP on that movie and go, well, it was her movie. That's not the way EP usually works as an actor.
It just usually means like your production company gets a stake in it because you're a big person and they get to pay you a little less for it.
Yeah, and maybe you get some input, but like
maybe
she did not get to. She was not the reason there was a Ghost in the Shell movie.
Yeah,
and it had her.
And I'm totally not saying that you were blaming her for it. That's just my opportunity to go on my rant that I like to go on.
Yeah.
I just saw the opening and I took it because damn, we really put her right through the coals for that one. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, yeah, we definitely did.
We should clown on it.
Yeah, definitely. It was bad decisions all the way down. But you know, this could be good. I think Death Note is the right tone for the Duffer Brothers. I'm interested to see it. You know, I just like you, just like most people here. I'm like, I don't feel like I particularly need live action adaptations of anime. But if you're gonna do it, at least you're bringing in creators who have a good track record, who probably care about the material,
right?
And you can have it go from there. And like I said, I like the Cowboy Bebop series, and I'm a big Bebop fan.
I'm personally team just keep giving us more animated anime movies. You know, give us our Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia movies.
Yeah. And those are doing really well theatrically now around the world.
They're so good.
And I think the more that people and the more that studios realize that those movies can do very well, why release some like throwaway low budget movie that's not going to do well when you can, just to fill out your slate for the year and keep butts in seats at the theater, when you can like license something like the Mugen Train movie and make like $1 bazillion, and it's cheaper and it's better and everybody likes you more for it.
Yeah. I want to end with 2 pieces of news. They're both
but save one for the BBs for
Yes,
today.
I
Remember,
do.
if you're a patron, you get one special piece of news just for you because it's Friday.
That's very true. So I'm not going to say one of these. I'm going to put the Comic-Con stories together.
Okay.
We'll save something else. We got some Comic-Con stories because we got to talk about Comic-Con because it's in 2 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, Comic-Con's in 2 weeks. And we will be at Comic-Con. We are doing something special at Comic-Con that they haven't announced yet because Comic-Con hasn't announced their slate for these things yet. But we're doing something special at Comic-Con. So if you are going to be there, there is going to be a way for you to come and see us.
We are doing elaborate paper sculptures. And we were not supposed to announce that.
Please.
Comic-Con's
gonna be so bad.
I just She-Hulked us.
Oh no! You techniqued it.
I don't want to name it after him. Poor guy. Listen, we're doing something special. And we hope that if you're going to be at Comic-Con, we'll see you there at the special thing, and we'll definitely let you know more as we can. But there are other big things happening at Comic-Con.
Yeah. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Not as big as us.
I mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's a pretty big guy.
He's physically bigger than us, but
in news.
In news, it's probably
We're
us.
the news guys. So,
Listen.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson is coming to Comic-Con for Black Adam. They're doing a Hall H thing. Very exciting, of course. We don't know what they're going to be doing necessarily.
He, of course, announced it from his gym where he has his American flag. It's weird. I can't get a beat on Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
He really just kept saying, get ready, stand up. I will remind you all that time that he commented on Joe Rogan's podcast, like Instagram account when Joe Rogan was like doing something terrible and he was like,
can't get a beat.
Thanks for doing the right thing, bud.
Can't get a beat on where I stand on Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, I've got a spicy neutral beat on it.
it's kind of going like this. Anyway, Black Adam's going to be there. This is added to the news that, of course, Marvel's going to be at Hall H, which was a surprise. Now, there's something that's particularly interesting for us.
Just for us. This is really just a thing that we're excited to visit at Comic-Con. And also, hey, I mean, I don't know if this is really a Wizards of the Coast thing or if this is more of a Paramount thing, but like, I'd love an invite.
So what it is Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, the D&D movie that is coming out that we're very excited for. It sounds like it's going to be silly good fun. They are doing a Comic-Con panel, but in addition to the Comic-Con panel, BBs, they're making a tavern.
A D&D themed tavern will be set up in San Diego near the convention center.
They're going to have 20-minute, it's like 20-minute windows. You come in, you have an immersive experience, you meet characters, there are actors inside doing tavern-y things, you get a little drink, and then it's kind of like a little bit of a live show. You walk out with some like cool art. Boss Logic is creating custom artwork that's going to be taken away. Everybody gets one. Quincy's Tavern is going to serve Dragon's Brew.
Oh, I love Quincy's Tavern.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing alcoholic and non-alcoholic Dragon's Brew.
Give me an invite.
They're gonna have a little sarsaparilla for you.
Let me in.
It's the Honor Among Thieves. The Honor Among Thieves Tavern experience is going to be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now the RSVP site, from what I understand, went live, so it's probably sold out already. But I'm gonna do everything I can to get into Quincy's Tavern.
Same. So Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, the D&D movie, is also kicking off Hall H this year, being the first Hall H panel. Can I just say, we live in a world where Dungeons and Dragons is kicking off Hall H at Comic-Con?
We've come a long way, baby.
Just take a moment for these fucking nerds.
We've come a long way, baby. even Comic-Con was not nerdy enough for that much D&D a few years ago.
No, there's been very little tabletop gaming at San Diego Comic-Con for the longest time. As somebody who's like, you know, a part of the tabletop community, there wasn't really a big spot for us there. And between some of the things that are happening with tabletop activations and this, I'm like, we're kind of here. We're kind of here this year.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Once again, if you are going to be there, find us. Come say hi to us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will be there all weekend. And I'm looking forward to it very much. But also, oh my God, Con Crunch, and I'm not even cosplaying this year. Decided I'm not cosplaying this year.
Good.
I'm not there yet.
It's a lot of stress.
It's a lot of stress, and I'm not there yet. I don't know if I'll go back to it again.
We're already doing a thing there.
Exactly.
I
cosplayed for 2019, and it was so packed all throughout San Diego that they kept breaking parts of my costume too.
It's honestly, it is the least fun event to cosplay at. Just because of the highs are high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it's like when you find other people that are dressed as characters in your same world and you do the big group photos or the big meetups, like that's great. But just walking around and holding on to your shit. And like, I remember the year that I was walking around in my Spider-Man and I had Cap's shield.
Yeah.
And I made it was a really nice Cap shield that a buddy gave to me because he's a prop master. And God damn, it was so heavy and there's nowhere to put your stuff. And when you're a Spider-Man, where do you hold things?
Exactly.
Like it's a lot.
I did 2 cosplays in 2019. I did a version of Diva and I did Himiko Toga.
Mm-hmm.
So with Toga, I had these like stacks of like little holstered barrels on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And every time somebody walked by, they just like fucking smacked them off of me and like broke pieces of it. I was just like,
the number of
guys, please, I worked really hard on this. They're magnetic.
Even in regular clothing, the amount of like shoulder checks you'll get.
Yeah.
And nobody means to. But it's like,
of course, it's just so packed.
It's just so packed. And let me tell you something, as somebody who was a nerdy and bullied kid, a shoulder check is like a trigger.
It is. It hurts my feelings.
A shoulder check
even when they didn't mean to.
Like I just start boiling, and I know it's nobody's fault, but I just start boiling.
Big same.
And I'm just like, okay, I gotta be cool. I gotta get somewhere with space. But from the moment you say I gotta get somewhere with space to somewhere with space is 20 minutes.
Yep.
And that's why I'm like, hey, if you don't want to do the big cosplay at Comic-Con, don't do the big cosplay at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I totally get that. I'm looking forward to it very much. Also, there's so many like friends from the internet that like are in our industry that we work with that I want to go and meet in person.
Yeah.
And I want them to be able to know that it is me.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, see me.
I want to be perceived for just like one of the days.
For once in my life.
I want to be perceived.
I would like to be seen. That's all.
Anyways.
Hey, BBs.
Yeah.
What a lovely morning we've had.
So true.
We want to go through and thank everybody who donated, who subscribed, who helped us out throughout this show. We're going to do that in just a moment. But before we do that, Saige, fuck is up with you?
Excellent question. You can find me everywhere on the internet at @NotSage. I stream on my channel, typically Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, but this week has been all here on this channel, including tonight for the season premiere of Failed Save at 6 p.m. Pacific. You do not want to miss it because it's going to be very good and very fun, and we've all missed each other so very much. We are kicking off a new season, and we left you on such a cliffhanger, and I'm just simply so excited for it, so I hope we will see you at 6 p.m. tonight. That new earlier time should make it a little easier for those in our other time zones.
That's right, and saw a lot of first-time chatters and new people this morning. Welcome. If you're not familiar with Failed Save, it is our D&D live play show. It is very fun. It's got a great cast. And the two of us.
It's an absurdist comedy, so even if you know absolutely nothing about D&D, this is a very easy place to jump in, because mostly it's just 7 friends dicking around.
Oh man, we got so many good people too. We got Abria Iyengar, we got Xander Jeanaway, we got Gina DeVivo, we got Kaylee Bray, we've got our lovely dungeon master Vince Casso. It's a great crew, very funny, very talented people. Come join us right here. And of course, if you can't make it, it's a VOD, it's a podcast, it's a dessert topping. Anywhere you need it, it's there.
When there's only one set of footprints in the sand is when Failed Save was carrying you.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, where the fuck is you? Other than Failed Save tonight.
Well, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where I am at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. I also have a science comedy podcast with Jeff Canonic called We Have Concerns. You can check that out at wehaveconcerns.com. And yeah, that's all I got for right now. That's all I got for right now.
Great. We love you all so very much. Thank you to everybody who supported us. A reminder, there's so many free ways to support us as well, doing things like joining the Discord for completely freezies. Just hanging out with the community, because we also love having you there. If you have things that you want us to talk about on the show, I had a couple of people that jumped in chat today and were like, are you going to talk about this? Are you going to talk about that? If you want to us... If you want to see us talk about something, feel free to leave it in the It's Too Early channel on the Discord. We go through those and pull some of the stories that you all suggested, which is very cool and helpful of you, and we appreciate you. Thank you, AZ, and also Skywalker today. Just
1, 2.
Very much we appreciate you.
And hey, Alonzo mentioned something that's very cool that I totally forgot. If you want an intro to Failed Save, we just put up on the YouTube channel a one-shot that was a bunch of you can donate to make the show real fucky.
You can affect the game.
And it's really good. And we had a bunch, you all were so generous during the season finale that we had a bunch of donations left over. So we did a one-shot based on all of that. And it's actually a great setup to the episode that we're going to be doing tonight. So check that out. We want to go ahead. Oh, remember, if you're a patron, special bonus clippy for you next.
$5 a month.
We're going to go ahead and thank everybody who supported us directly during the show today. Fudaddy88 with the resub for 5 months. That's a good chunk of time. I think you might like us. Same for Gina Marie D, who resubbed for 5 months. Am I Will I Am resubbing for 3 months. Gwen XYZ for 4 months. Peter Lou with the resub for 4 months saying, getting news all the way from Brazil. Obrigado. Best channel on Twitch. I mean, if you say it.
It's true.
Jay White 479 gifted 25 tier 1 subs.
Goodness
How did we miss that?
Gracious. That was us before we got started.
Oh my goodness. That must have just been like, whew. My stars. Mr. Bulldop666 with the resub for 10 months. Eternal Space Witch with the resub for 16 months. That's a prime sub, taking a little money out of the Beezy pockets. Darwin50 with the 100-bit stream. Andrew Grego 30 with the tier 1's gift sub. Martinis for 2 at 6 with the tier 1 gift sub. Jay White 479 with another 5 gift subs. Oh my goodness, Jay White 479, if you're still here, bless you.
Bless.
Emily Green 1994 with a 13-month sub. That's a Pixel Circus year. Old Man Jan with the 9-month sub. Penguin and that I think is caught up. Hey, thank you all for your generosity. You know, your subs go to to support the entire channel. We are an independent channel that just runs out of a literal shack. It's a shed. It's wobbly. You've seen the camera wobble.
A bunch today.
And all of your subs go to equipment, to decking out the studio, to making everything run. All of your donations go directly to the hosts. That's how we get paid. So thank you so much for that. But thank you all for being so generous, BB.
Very nice of you.
So nice of you.
We're gonna go record for the Patreon, so we will see you over there if you are a patron. And hey, we love you so much and we appreciate you. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, OB098.
Thank you.
Skiddly dip, skiddly dip, ba da ba dee ba dee ba da 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 ba 1, 2.